Hi, I'm Obaid for Namaste America News, bringing you the news for the South Asian American community. On today's show, we have a roundup of the top stories from the Indian subcontinent, including a look at the WTO chief's visit to India. Later in the show, the Desi Insider will feature what's hot in Bollywood. So keep it where it is. I'll be back with our lead story on the other side of this break.
Coming up on this week's Desi Insider. Planning on going to the theater this weekend? Get ready for more in-movie advertising from Bollywood. We'll tell you all about it. Shilpa Shetty's encounters on reality TV show Big Brother in the UK result in racism claims that reach the House of Commons and the British Prime Minister. We have a special report, so stay tuned for the Desi Insider coming up later in the show.
Lower.
Hello, this is Namaste America News, and I am Obaid Kadwani, bringing you the weekly roundup from the Indian subcontinent. Leading off the news this week, in an effort to revive the Doha round of trade talks, the chief of the World Trade Organization, or WTO, Pascal Lamy, met India's Commerce and Industry Minister Kamal Nath. Lamy also met Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, seeking support to prop up Doha's round of negotiations. Global trade talks, known as the Doha Round, was stalled last July on differences between the United States, the European Union, and developing nations, mainly on farming tariffs and subsidies. Some discussion has resumed at a technical level, and there have been a flurry of meetings between top negotiators, including between Lamy and U.S. Trade Representative Susan Schwab. Lamy said signing the WTO agreement would not make much of a difference for the farmers in India. He said that stalled global trade talks were getting a fresh push from key political leaders, but warned negotiators must start giving ground soon to maintain momentum. Some 30 trade ministers will meet in the Swiss resort of Davos this week to discuss how to take the talks forward, and Lamy himself will hold talks with officials from India, which has been a key negotiator for developing nations along with Brazil. New Delhi, however, was wary about the talks. Kamal Nath said New Delhi would like to see progress on several fronts to make any commitments. Nath said he expected the United States and the European Union to take a lead for the success of talks.
Industrial products, services, movement of people are very important issues which we would like to see progress made and concluded.
India and Brazil are part of the group of 20 developing nations and big agricultural producers seeking cuts in farm subsidies from the United States. The impasse in agriculture has blocked progress in other areas, including industrial goods. In agriculture, the U.S. negotiators have focused on a global formula for reducing tariffs, sensitive products, and quotas. Most trade analysts maintain a breakthrough in the Doha round must come in the next few months to spur Congress to renew the Bush administration's negotiating authority for a pact. Britain's Finance Minister Gordon Brown met with Indian bankers in a bid to enhance cooperation between financial institutions of both the countries. K.V. Kamath, who is the chief of ICICI Bank, Ravi Narain, who is the managing director of National Stock Exchange, and Naina Lal Kidwai, who is the CEO of HSBC Bank India, amongst others, attended the meeting in India's financial capital, Mumbai. Brown, who will take over from Prime Minister Tony Blair, urged Indian companies to come to Britain. He announced the City of London Corporation would soon open a branch in Mumbai. The corporation facilitates contacts and business between the banking and financial institutions in Britain and India. India and UK have agreed to open up the banking sector, with India asking for more licenses for Indian banks to operate in UK. Brown, who arrived in India as the head of a 150-company business delegation, had earlier welcomed the federal government's planned proposal to raise foreign direct investment limit in the insurance sector to 49% from the current 26%. A highly controversial dam in western India started generating power last week. Authorities have hailed the $7.7 billion Sardar Sarovar Dam in Gujarat state, which has taken almost 20 years to complete, as an answer to the irrigation and power needs of millions in the vast parched regions in the west of the country. Satyam Computer Services Limited, India's fourth largest software exporter, rose 25%, lagging estimates as a stronger rupee weighed, sending its shares down more than 7%. New York-listed Satyam, which specializes in business software, said consolidated net profit for October through December rose to 3.37 billion rupees for the fiscal third quarter ending December 31st, up from 2.7 billion a year earlier. India has taken up the issue of the shooting incident near the international frontier in Kashmir with Pakistan and has expressed concern over it, according to Defense Minister A.K. Antony. 2 Indian troops were wounded in the incident that happened last week and may have violated a truce that has been working well since it came into effect in November of 2003 as part of peace moves between the 2 nuclear-armed rivals. Around 2,000 Islamists opposed to a peace process between India and Pakistan rallied in the Pakistani capital and vowed to continue the insurgency against the Indian rule in the disputed Himalayan region. The protest was held a day after Kashmir's main political separatists arrived in Pakistan to push forward the 3-year-old peace process between the 2 nuclear-armed South Asian neighbors. Relatives of many militants killed in a 17-year-old uprising in Kashmir also joined the rally. In sports news, fine bowling by the Indian spinners and some fine fielding as well earned India a 20-run win in the second of 4 ODIs against the West Indies. Romesh Pawar claimed 3 wickets, Sachin Tendulkar chipped in with 2, and Harbhajan Singh got out the talented Marlon Samuels as the Indians bowled out the West Indies for 169 all out. Now for news in brief. Chief Minister of Southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh visited the grieving relatives of those who are feared drowned after their overcrowded boat capsized and sank while crossing a river. Police say 66 people, including 36 women and children, were missing and feared drowned. The accident occurred on... Stay tuned for more news after these messages. Welcome back. In news from across the border, Pakistan's new High Commissioner to India, Shahid Malik, said there will be a comprehensive review of the visa policy between India and Pakistan. The 2 nations had worked out a new accord between them during the visit of Indian Foreign Minister Pranab Mukherjee to Pakistan last week. Malik said a number of issues were being discussed by officials of the 2 nations. Leaders of the moderate faction of the All Parties Hurriyat Conference, or APHC, held an intra-Kashmir dialogue with leaders of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir in an effort to build public opinion for early settlement of the Kashmir issue. Talking to reporters after the meeting, Stay tuned for more news after these messages. That's all the news this week. Until next time, I'm Obaid Kedwani, wishing you a great week ahead.